So most of your teammates, they probably spend hours just trying to answer one question. They'll parse through dashboards, they'll create new charts, all to answer questions like, what happened to my conversion this week? Or which users are more likely to churn? Or things like, okay, which features drive the most retention? But what if Amplitude can answer those questions for you just like that? Hi, my name is Olivia and I'm a growth consultant here at Adasight, and in today's video we'll be talking about global agents, or what you like to call chat. So instead of manually building your dashboards or adding those filters yourself, create segments or create cohort yourself, you can simply type your questions in plain English and just ask chat. You can say things like, hey, can you generate this chart for me answering this question? Or can you build this dashboard for me for my upcoming meetings? It can always surface insights. It can help you look through recordings. It can give you all the answer that you need just by telling it the right question, just by asking it the right question. So in today's video, I would like to show you that. So here I have Amplitude, and as you can see here, you can find chat on the left side, or you can find it here in the front. And you can see that there are some prompts that you can use already. Amplitude usually picks some prompts for you to choose from, and you can start broad with that. But in our case here, I do have a question. So in this example, I am using Amplistore, which is a e-commerce store, and here I'm asking it, hey, can you help me build a chart to understand user conversion in my store? So let's wait for it to think. But before we do that, I already have the information here in this example. So it is able to tell me that these are the conversions that I typically see. So in this case, we have view item details, eventually add to cart, eventually checkout, and eventually completing a purchase. So this is typical conversions that you will be able to see. Now, the great thing about this is that if you already make sure that you added those information in, information about what these events are and where you find them and then what kind of conversion you want to see, Amplitude is able to do that just like that for you because it knows the right context. So here it does an analysis, and then you can ask questions like, okay, show me the conversion trend. In this example here, okay, we can see that January 19 to February 19, it is a stable 6% conversion. But then in the mid period, which is about February 10 to 13, it had a slight dip, for example. And then just recently, for example, here, 14 to 18, it had a major drop. So Amplitude is able to do that for you. It is able to answer some questions regarding trends. It is able to answer questions regarding what is really going on. So this agent works really fast. As I was explaining things to you, you can also see that it started building new answers based on the same questions. With this one here, it gives you information in a tabular format. It shows me, okay, this is what's really going on. This is how many people I have in the beginning to eventually add to cart, to eventually complete a purchase. But let's take it up a notch here. So I want to see new things. So here I'm telling them, hey, I have a meeting with my stakeholders regarding sales, right? I want you to create a dashboard for me. This dashboard should answer all of the sales questions, right? And then I also wanted you to help me create a Slack message to invite all of the stakeholders to join. So I can show you that right now, what that looks like. So if you see here, Amplitude immediately just creates a dashboard for you, and you can click on that. Now you can see that chat will follow you through every step of the way, and you can see that this is the sales performance that it creates based on the context that it has. Here, it knows that, okay, you want to know weekly purchases because you are talking to the salespeople. It tells me, okay, how many purchases am I receiving every week, sorry. And then it also tells me what kind of categorization. So this is saying like, okay, I can see that digital content is probably doing best compared to other categories. It also shows me the funnels itself. So how many people went from the start of the funnels to eventually making a purchase. It also shows me, for example, here, which campaign has the highest conversions. And it does this comparison like month to month. So if we go back to chat again, here. Remember that Slack message I was telling you about? So this is able to create that Slack message for me. So it's saying, hey guys, this is a scheduled sales performance meeting that we're going to have together. Please have a look at the dashboard before the meeting, and then this is what we'll be reviewing. Same as the one that we just did earlier. With this one here, it also creates a different chart. Actually, yeah, it creates a different chart here. This one is more complete. Again, like the newer, as time goes by, Amplitude will basically update itself, and it creates like better and better charts. So you can see here, okay, how many people are active today. It tells me the conversion, and it breaks it down by a certain category, right? Tells me which ones is doing best, and then which sessions and like which items are giving me the best type of conversion. And you can always ask back some questions. And here you can see that it still creates my Slack message there. So I think it's pretty cool. So now what I want to do is I want to do a deep dive. I have a daily active user. So this is the number of users that came in here. And then what I can do is that I can ask chat some questions, or I can actually click on a certain question here. And then I can say, hey, can you run a deep insight on what's going on? And then if you click on it, this one might take a while because it is doing like a deep dive. And I've also done that here. So it tells me what is really going on that day. So it's saying, hey, you have a really massive spike on that date, right? It is a 8.9 times increase. So it tells me what is really going on and what is the impact here. It also tells me what are the next steps. So some of the information that they're telling me is that maybe you should do some double checking, right? Or maybe there's an alternative explanation. So for example, here, hey, there might be bot or crawlers in your website, or maybe your marketing campaign is having a viral moment, right? So this is what it looks like here. You can see, okay, you typically have less than 30 users coming in. So this is quite high compared to the others. And it gives you a breakdown of like, okay, you can see here that the people are mainly coming in from Linux instead of like your typical Mac, Windows, and Android. So it does do a really deep dive on it, and it tells you, okay, most of these people are direct, so we're not sure why that is going on. Maybe there is a very good example for it. It even gives you like a deep dive on the type of users that come in, if they are people we know or if they are people who are anonymous. So yeah, I think this is one of the coolest features that Amplitude has. So why does this matter now that we know that you can do this, right? So it matters because now, instead of you having your team, spend hours and hours digging through data, you can now have it in just one go. And all you need to do is validate if the data, the kind of analysis that they're doing for you is the right analysis that you want to look at. It saves you a lot of time, and it could give you, as a human, more time to maybe brainstorm ideations and create new initiatives for your product. So yeah, that's the new feature that Amplitude Global Agent has, and you should try it out and play around with yourself. Basically, Amplitude AI Agent now, instead of you spending hours, it turns it into just a conversation, like between two people trying to figure out what is really going on with my product. You can simply ask questions and you will instantly get some insights, and that saves a lot of time, a lot of energy. And you as a human can use your time for other things. So let me know if this is helpful. As always, thank you so much for your time. Hope to see you in the next video. Bye.